Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Order, chaos, chaos, order.
Yep. Chaos to cosmos, cosmos to chaos. Saturday night, we're back. Hello, America. Well, let me this is for the ancestors.
You know what I notice about a lot of people in their spirituality, their so-called spirituality, their religion. I mean, lack lack
Hmm.
of knowledge is embedded in everyone's belief system. They don't
Yep.
have they don't really have no real knowledge. They just believe a lot of stuff, and they're just going by a lot of stuff that the priesthood, you know what I'm saying, decreed as ancient principles. You know, because the Council of Nicaea was not the only council that came together and decreed what scripture would fit their political agenda.
Yeah, it was Council of Trent. It was a bunch. They spent a whole 100 years putting that shit together.
Right.
Hmm.
And then when I ask Christians, do you know about the Council of Nicaea? They
Nope.
are totally oblivious. They don't know. They don't
No.
got.
And they say that's not the type of Christianity I practice anyway. I don't believe in the Pope.
Yeah, they lost, bro. They very
Yeah.
much lost. But
Hmm.
then speaking to everybody as if they are the ones that have a grip on reality and everybody else is out of whack.
Not anymore because they out of whack too because they don't have a clue what's what.
They've
I
been out of whack.
mean, other than these are the signs or that was in Revelations. They say, see, it's coming true. Everything they said is true.
That's bullshit too. I can explain that away. I'll let you go on and do the mantra though first. I can explain that
Oh,
away too. Bullshit.
okay. All right. Okay. Tonight is the primordial trust. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the Almighty power, so the great nothingness of Almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible light from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Now, being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness and an active force of infinite intelligence within us all now. Being and becoming the great primordial dragon god sign Kundalini flames. Now, whirling and ascending up our spines from our root chakra to our central heart chakra, all the way up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our royal crown chakra, illuminating our first eye, our Lord Amunel Drakra, our hidden priestly grandmaster Magi, dragon god, sun, king, and queen, igniting all of the 72 chakras in our first eye, our 72 primordial dragon god, sun, kings, and queens, and all of our legions of 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 armies 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 of armies. Now, willing all of the powers, all of the forces, all of the elements, all of the essences, ethers, dark matter, and dark energy ruling the entire absolute all into being and becoming all of our will servants, serving all of our wills, objectives, intentions, and desires, crystallizing them all into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Now, being and becoming our own Grandmaster Mother Dragon God Sunlight Beam Mind Ship Merkaba. Now, opening up a supermassive black hole, folding out of this time space continuum, returning back to our original primordial beginning, returning back to our original primordial station and original primordial DNA blueprint of creation and humanity. And before the fall of our primordial soul, renewing our dark matter, dark energy soul, reabsorbing our original primordial essences, reigniting the divine spark back to its original primordial charge, recharging our infinite soul back with the great mother dragon goddess queen, being and becoming something brand new that's never been, but that always will be. Being and becoming one with the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we are now willing commanded to be. Now, bringing all out war, judgment, death, and total destruction upon the multi-universe created by the lower multi-dimensional archonic demiurge angelic and demonic energies that slayed our primordial souls before creation, using our primordial energy to create this light and energy extraction creation matrix, imprisoning our souls, keeping us ignorant of our true higher self so it can feed off of our light through this wicked worldly system until now, because now's the time of their fall as our new higher primordial dark matter, dark energy self return back to creation from our primordial beginning, traveling through a supermassive black hole in our Grandmaster Mother Dragon God Sunlight Beam Mind Ship Merkaba, now ripping through and tearing holes into this space-time continuum, circling all of the corners of the earth, awakening all of the holy, divine, infinite, magical sparks at once, now all shedding their physical cocoons, being and becoming beings of dark matter, dark energy, emitting a new primordial light, now ascending up into the Grandmaster Mother Dragon God Sunlight Beam Mind Ship Merkaba, along with the soul of Mother Earth, leaving an empty shell behind as we open up a supermassive black hole, folding out of this creation matrix as it is completely destroyed, as we're all now reunited back with the infinite all as one, now free to begin experiencing true divine love, being and becoming our own new primordial universe where the earth is renewed into something brand new beyond any description, as all the souls are now free to become our own worlds as kings and queens, exploring a new and never explored universe and multiverse in peace, love, and harmony until this day of Brahma becomes the night of Brahma. Through the power, force, might, will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life from which comes the absolute all. All that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now willing commanded to be. Abracadabra, Ashe.
Ashe.
Crown chakra day libations. Ain, the nothingness, Ashe. Ain soft, the infinite, Ashe. Ain soft or, the infinite light, Ashe. Adam Kaplan, Atik Yamin, the ancient of ancient, the most ancient of days, Irik Yampin, the big face, the primordial Christ. Atsilith, emanations, the supernal holy universe manifesting as our holy divine infinite magical names, the cosmic Christ, Ashe. The great abyss of gnosis manifesting in us as our crown of Zeramp and the small face, the indwelling Christ, Ashe. Berea, form, creation, and paradise manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical dark archangels and demons, Ashe. Yetzer, formation, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical orders of dark angels and demons, Ashe. Ashia, the actual physical world in the making, the universe of action, manifesting in us as the holy divine infinite magical earthly kingdom, Ashe. Yeshida, the holy divine infinite magical spark, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical will, Ashe. Heya, our holy divine infinite magical life force, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical desire, Ashe. Nishama, our holy divine infinite magical heavenly soul, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical heavenly thoughts, Ashe. Ruach, our holy divine infinite magical soul, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical word spoken through us, Ashe.
Ashe.
Nephish, our holy, divine, infinite, magical, earthly soul, manifesting into realization, actualization, and form as we all now willing commanded to be, Ashe.
Ashe.
Kether, the supernal crown, Ashe.
Ashe.
Hakma, wisdom, the supernal father, Ashe. Bana, understanding and intelligence, the supernal mother, Ashe. Da,
Ashe.
the great abyss of gnosis, Ashe.
Ashe.
Hased, mercy, Ashe. Gavura, judgment, Ashe. Tiferet,
Ashe.
beauty, Ashe.
Ashe.
Netzik, victory, Ashe. Had, glory, Ashe. Yasad, foundation, Ashe. Mount
Ashe.
Hoop, the kingdom, Ashe. The
Ashe.
power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow. The primordial cosmic flower constantly blooming the absolute all into being, Ashe.
Ashe. Flow Ashe.
Ashe.
Empress Ashe.
Ashe.
Destiny Ashe.
Ashe.
Isis Ashe.
Ashe.
Saw Ashe.
Ashe.
Cyrus Ashe.
Ashe.
Sirius 1 A, B, C, and D. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ma'at Ashe.
Ashe.
All the gods known and unknown, all the goddesses known and unknown. Ashe.
Ashe. Yeah, so what's in the ethers?
What's in the ethers?
Shit, a
Well,
lot. A lot.
well, because what you're referring to is a part of the cosmos that's still chaotic in nature is nothing in the ethers. And there's something in the ethers. You know what I'm saying? This is
Mm-hmm.
the nature of these different parallel worlds. We, like I said, I keep reiterating we're multidimensional, but we're not thinking like multidimensional beings. We think like third dimensional beings.
Maybe we do, but we just don't know how to express it.
No, we don't, because the programming doesn't allow for us to. Because if we did, we wouldn't be arguing over Democrat, Republican, good,
Oh,
bad. We wouldn't be
oh, oh.
arguing over these things. We would see them as complementary forces that can be used in our benefit if we operate from a magical standpoint.
Hmm. Okay. Two
So,
different polarities of this, two different aspects of the same thing.
I mean, the thing about it is when you're looking at polarities, right?
Mm-hmm.
All you're looking at is the same energy, but it's one is the extreme of one polarity, and the other is the extreme of the other polarity, of the
Yeah,
left
male and
and the
female.
right polarity. It's the
Ma-
extreme. These are the
masculine and
two
feminine.
extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's once you have the masculine energy and feminine energy. The feminine energy is always going to be that energy that's the outlaw, because that's that dark energy, that's the magnetic energy that's pulling in everything. This in the paradigm that we're in now, which is matriarch. Uh, this male rule paradigm, the patriarchal paradigm. They It's about keeping down the feminine energy at all costs and demonizing it as well.
True, but it's more about getting us further and further away from the balance of the masculine and feminine,
Hmm.
the balance of these two polarities of the cosmos. Right?
Yes.
It's the balance of these two forces that allow the dragon energy to rise, that allow the phoenix energy to rise. You got to realize when that energy rises, that incinerates worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand people agendas who understand this multidimensional, vibrational existence and condition that we exist in. They understand how to keep us. This is why I say this is the main issue: is where is humanity at in their evolution? It's always the main issue.
Yes.
Where is humanity at in their evolution? And
Yes.
if humanity, because there was as a matter of fact, I want to do some reactions to certain videos that I have been sharing on my Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
we can go there because that's what I had it already queued. Well, I didn't have the
Okay.
video queued up, but I had Facebook already on here, so we can just let's see. This was one of them. This is not the main one though. Check this out, and we can just talk about it afterwards. Can you hear it?
No,
Hmm. Okay,
there's
let me
no
see.
audio.
Okay, because I got it turned down, and I'm trying to see what the hell. What do I turn it up at? Oh, here. See, let me start it over.
Still no sound.
That's bullshit. Let me mention that. That's bullshit because we think we can say extraterrestrial, terrestrial from a three-dimensional standpoint, but we're multidimensional. So
Mm-hmm.
there's territories that we existed upon, right?
Well,
We were the original
basically,
one here. We were the original one in this territory, and we are the original in multi dimensions.
yeah. Well, in my mantra, the one I just read, it's about us going back to our primordial beginning before all of this. So yeah, we had going back to our original primordial station before creation,
Right.
and in that primordial station, there's no limit to what the fuck we are.
See, I'm just you're right, but it's like I'm trying to I'm attempting to reorientate us, um calibrate our brain thinking to who we actually are as multidimensional and not
Mhm.
just being third dimensional. Because everything we say and everything we think is based in three dimensions, not four or
Yeah,
five
that
dimensions,
yeah. Well,
seven
see, it's
dimensions,
going
infinite dimensions. Go ahead.
it's going to take a major shock, a cosmic shock, to wake up these melanated beings to who and what they are, and even awaken us up, ourselves up to what we are. We know that we're far more than this, and that there are things in us that are dormant. Okay,
And
and
they're
we're
coming
trying to
online now.
bring these. Hmm? Yeah, and they're coming online, but at the same token, with Pluto going into Aquarius or for the next 20 something years, that makes it possible for some type of cosmic event to occur to where something is introduced into our environment to help speed up this process and bring it online sooner than later. and and then that would be the beginning of a new epoch for us. The old epoch will be completely forgotten, will be gone, and everything connected to that old epoch will go with it. But then a new epoch will begin, and a new race, a new primordial beginning, a new earth, a new a new heaven and earth, a whole new astrology, a whole new, I mean, just at a blink of an eye. I mean, we're at a point where these things that are coming online in us that's been dormant, if it's exposed to the right material, cosmic material, our primordial material, just happen to be passing through the universe in our direction, it can speed up this process.
Everything around you is cosmic material.
Yes, but I'm talking about primordial cosmic, before the shit that existed before the universe.
Well,
That's
when you think about the primordial essence of all of existence, right? The
hmm
tapestry, everything. It's like, for example, this I explain other nationalities, and they call polymorphism. Polymorphism. You ever heard of that concept?
polymorphism.
Yes.
No, no, I
Okay.
haven't. Can you please
Uh,
explain?
Polymorphism. It basically kind of explains like the different branches of the genetics, the original genetics, the branches of the original genetics, and how it branched off to become
hmm
these other strains. These other strains.
hmm
So when you're dealing with polygenetics, you dealing with the original understanding, the original genetics from which all genetics sprouted from, right?
Yeah, and
So the same thing with the cosmos, right?
hmm those
We are the
primordial
original. We
cells still
represent.
exist in
Let
us.
me finish, brother.
Hmm?
Let me
Well,
finish.
okay.
We represent the original genetics from which all other genetics have mutated out of, right?
Yes.
So when you look at it like that, all of them have that original genetics within its matrix, right?
hmm
Because it's going to have the same, a lot of the same genetic memory from one, even though in a mutation, it becomes in a mutation, like I said, it becomes lack of the original information. A mutation does not mean evolution.
Yeah.
A mutation literally means an adaptation. It adapted to a particular environment. When you think about it in that level, you got to recognize that the whole cosmos is similar to that when you're dealing with from the original primordial material or essence or what they call it cosmic slop. The
Yeah, the
original
primordial.
primordial cosmic slop. Every inch of what we call manifested reality has a bit of it in there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's these
There is
four
no, there is
cells.
no, there is no part of the universe where it's not omnipresent. This is where we get the concept of omnipresence
hmm
because it's present there, even though it's like a little dim. It becomes a dim presence, very dim. It's still there though.
Dim compared to what? I mean, it's
Dim to
there.
being dim to compare to the source. Because what happens is a lot of what we call creation is a duplicate of a duplicate of a duplicate of a duplicate. You know how if you copy something the most of the time, the generations, it lose generations.
Yeah, but it's all happening within the source, though. It's not
Well, of
happening
course,
outside of it.
we saying the same thing. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is source is presence. Every
hmm
regardless if it's artificial reality, because we
hmm
exist in a matrix of artificial realities too.
hmm
So you got to be able to see through the artificial by always being connected to source within you, because you have the source in you too.
Yeah.
So let's listen to some more of this.
Well, I can't hear the audio. There's no audio on my side. Still no
Another
audio.
thing we have to recognize is we have to return back to the original languages of our ancestors, because a lot of, even though a lot of it is embedded in these modern day languages too, we
Mm-hmm.
have to understand, because we're calling out these names, and we got to understand whatever we're saying out of our vocals are very powerful. Things that you
We.
say, things that you think, very
Mm-hmm.
powerful when you exist, and it affects your life very much.
Absolutely. Yes. You
So
have to be.
we have to study etymology. This was important for etymology, because we live in a reality that was constructed through, and it was constructed all during Inca Divina, where these missions, where these decrees from the Pope, or the decrees from the Vatican, they decree a certain amount of they decree that they would convert all the savages.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What I learned, bro, is this is crazy how everybody doing magic, but they will shun it. Right? This is what I'm saying. The same people who will shun magic doing it all the time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the brother was talking to me the other day. You know, he's supposed to be this heavy Christian dude, and all this, he shunned magic and all this shit, right? Even though it's all Christianity ain't doing nothing but magic too, but that's neither here
Mm-hmm.
nor there. But when he was talking to me about well, he was saying stuff, right? And what he was, when we, it was basically a debate, and he start attributing characteristics to me, so he can make up so his arguments can make sense. This is what people do. They create a
Mm-hmm.
straw man argument. I'm keep
Mm-hmm.
on telling him I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that what you just said that I said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know.
But
Yeah.
you forcing that to be what I said because it fits your
Yeah.
argument.
That's the only way they can um, pretty much
Manipulate,
participate
do
in that.
magic. They trying to do magic, bro. It's a form of magic that they're trying to induct. They don't even probably realize it, because their ego can't allow them to see that that's what they're doing. This is what they're people are worshiping the demiurge
Mm-hmm.
because they're egotistical as hell. This is why the demiurge has such a hold on this particular state of consciousness that we in right now.
Well, I mean, they can't help it because the brain, the human brain, is the demiurge. It's the home of the demiurge, the human brain.
Okay.
It's the matrix. It's the home of all the archangels, the heavenly
Well,
hosts.
the thing
They
about
live
it
in the
is the thing about it is you are incorrect where you say they can't do nothing about it. That's the whole purpose of you being here, to do stuff about it.
Oh, well,
They can
when
do
I
stuff
say they
about it. They
can't do
can do
nothing
it, but they
about
can't
it,
do
it's
it again.
because they're, mentally they're participating in cosmic um separation.
Devolution.
Yeah, well, cosmic ignorance, cosmic separation. Okay, they're participating in that, and as long as they're participating in that, yeah, then they're helpless.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's on them regardless. It's not something outside of their power to control, is
Oh
what I'm saying.
no, it's on
That's my
all.
all I'm saying, because we will give people this uh coddling to them. That's even making them go deeper into their inferiority complex about themselves and shit. You
Yeah.
start coddling into, they have no control over this. So yes, they freaking do. They chose not to have no control over themselves.
Well, yeah. Well, it may sound like that. I'm just describing something, but you're right. I mean,
I
because
mean,
the
I'm just
same
saying,
thing.
I'm speaking in general, not directly at you. See, that's the ego too. I'm speaking
Yeah,
in
that's the
general.
ego
And
too. Yeah.
you think I'm talking about you personally? No,
Oh
I'm
no,
speaking.
no, no! I wasn't thinking about that. But I'm just saying. Whoa, what am I saying?
Well, everyone has an ego. I get it. We all have
Yeah.
one, right? The thing
Because
about it
we all have a
is,
brain.
the thing about the ego, right, is that we're not supposed to let it run rampant. We're supposed to control it. We're not supposed to allow it to just be because everyone else is egotistical. So I'm gonna engage and participate in what everyone else is doing. No, what happens is this is part of your journey. Your journey here is to master yourself. Master self mastery is the main purpose of you being in this. The main one of the main purposes is self control, self mastery.
Yes. Well, you can't advance on to the next level until you've completed all the lessons that you have to complete down here.
Right.
The great mother, Big Mama, won't let you go to,
I
won't
mean,
let you.
you're gonna be reincarnated again, and you're gonna have to do this shit again.
Yeah.
And everybody recognize who understands the higher understanding and the esoteric meaning of these concepts is you don't want to reincarnate here.
Not here. I mean, you're going to incarnate. I mean, we're beings that incarnate. I mean, we just want to
Well,
incarnate to a higher.
the thing about it is, I've I have genetic memory of us just being light beings and wanting to incarnate when we want to, not in this birth cycle thing. I have genetic memory of that, or I have deep memory of that.
Yeah, and well,
Right, we were
okay.
light beings. We can come into the flesh because we control our vibrational state when we wanted to. We can lower our vibration and become solidified, and we can higher our vibration. We can still do it now. We can higher our vibration to just become a light being and just travel through the astral realm whenever we want. We can go. We were able to go back and forth when we wanted to, bro.
Yeah, and then they say every soul has is mandatory that all souls have to come down here and do a pilgrimage.
Right. That's the cycle, though. That's like a covenant that we got caught up into because we were when I say when I'm looking at like I'm looking at the collective consciousness. What is the collective consciousness? The collective consciousness is evidence or indicator that we all connected to the source.
Mm-hmm.
Even the divine spark is just a piece of it's fragmented now. It's fragmented. So what happens is because when it get fragmented, we go into ego, right? And we think we separate from the source. But
Well, that
you are the source. I am the source.
yeah, that's what I meant by
Having a human experience.
yeah, cosmic separation.
Right. We all are the source having a human experience. And that's when we get that, because I used to battle with that. Like I'm gonna lose this personality, this person that I am today. I'm gonna lose that. That person that you is just an emanation of greater other persons that you have been. You are multidimensional. You like and it's crazy because they're explaining this in the in the comic book world. They're explaining this shit. Everything that I've been thinking is now being explained. This is how I'm knowing it's a connection between that evolution, not my personal evolution, but all of our evolution. Because I'm not the only one thinking this.
Yeah, if we all could be connected to the same soul, we all could be connected to the same soul, and this master soul is having all these experiences through all these incarnations.
Right. But the thing about it is we have to recognize multidimensional reality, man. Because then you couldn't just be so eager. You gotta look at the Spider-Man multiverse movie, right? Because it's a
Hmm.
lesson in our multidimensional selves in that movie about being a personality and being egotistical and also recognizing you are a part of the vast source of everything, and just
Hmm.
being able to balance that out within your spirit. Because once you do it, this is why I really am my the map the most, I wouldn't say most powerful, the most influential goddess in my life is Ma'at. Why?
Hmm.
Because she represents reciprocity. right?
Scale,
This is
scale of
this is
balance.
bringing. This is also when you think about reciprocity. It's like when I say order out of chaos, chaos out of order. That's reciprocity, right? Because
Yeah.
it can't just be peace. I kept on hearing people say peace, 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 right?
Hmm.
Every time, peace, God, peace, peace to the peace, peace. I'm like, I'm thinking that's not my op.
But shit, motherfuckers walking down the street with a piece in their pocket all day. We got a bunch of men of peace out there, and they ain't peaceful.
Right, but yeah, you're right. But at the same time, I'm thinking about when I'm talking about cultivating the energy, the energetic balancing of energies within us and then outside of us, right?
Hmm.
We got to balance it within ourselves. When I came to these conclusions, I was balancing that energy within myself. Like it's not just peace, it's chaos too. What's
Well, shit, man,
order,
we're in a
order and
fucking
chaos.
war. We're in a war against this totalitarian dictatorship rulers who want to completely rule over us and take away all our freedoms, take away all our liberties, take away, completely disconnect us from the ancient world.
We allowing them to do that. You got to change the vote. Remember we talked about that
Yeah,
last week.
yeah,
We
well, yeah.
allowing them to do all this because we would sit back and not recognize our power and think in an inferior state. You're right.
Well, that's why I said we're at war. I mean, now when
With
we're at war, I
ourselves,
mean, well, we with ourselves. Okay, well
yes.
then we can go within
All these
ourselves.
look. This is what I mean by ourselves because anything that we look at as an adversary, right?
Hmm.
Which is the original understanding of the devil is an adversary, right? It's your opposite dark self that you have to come into reconciliation with.
And then that goes away.
It doesn't go away. It just operates. See, it's like how it's just how when Bobby was talking about how they will put like a skull on a bottle of bleach, right? And it
Yeah, they're
is deadly. It
imposing
means it's
some
deadly.
power.
But really, what it actually means is this is the most powerful chemical that we can whip up. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's
It's like
not
a
water.
powerful chemical, right? So
Yeah,
you can always recognize these reconciliations of your thinking and balance that energy out within yourself. Because once you balance it out within yourself, your reality manifests that now.
well, I take it a step further. You also say you want to align yourself with the most grotesque, demonic, evilest looking symbols because that energy represents potency of
It's
energy.
going to balance you out.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
because you are negative and positive. You are dark and light. You
yeah.
are the God. You are God and the devil. I told a brother that one day, and I just
Hmm.
fucked his head up. I
Yeah.
fucked his head up. I said, because I told it to a brother who's into the science of being a God. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's an actual group that calls themselves the gods in the earth. He was one of these brothers, right?
Yeah.
I was like, the cosmos is universal balance, right? So
Yeah.
I am not only God, I'm the devil.
Yeah. You can't be one without, you can't have one without the other. I mean, what's, where the devil get its source from? It's a part
Right,
of the source. It's a part of
right.
the all.
And then when you look at the back and forth between God and the devil, it's if you stuck in the battle between them,
Oh
you're
shit.
missing the symbolism.
Well, then you're stuck in duality.
Right. If you
And
stuck in the battle
duality,
between them, you're missing all the symbolism though.
yeah, and duality
And the
promotes
mystery.
separation. It promotes
Right,
separation.
right.
Polarity promotes unity, meaning you you consolidate the energy.
I want to look at this sister stuff. She's pretty good. She's saying some real stuff, but that's part three. I don't think I got part one of that one. But it was
Mm.
another one that I really wanted to watch. Hold up, let's see. Uh let's see. Oh, it ain't that far down. I think it's it. This is it right here.
Well, there's some crazy looking clouds.
Okay, let me turn
No,
this.
you have no audio on my end. You got to do
No,
something about the audio.
I'm about to turn this.
Okay. Still no audio.
I know. I just turned it off again.
Yeah. No audio.
You can't hear it.
Nope.
You said you can't hear it.
No, can't hear it.
Let me see. I don't know. That must be something on your side. Let me see something though.
I don't know. It can't
On my
be.
side.
I
Everything's
mean,
on.
I know. I mean,
Can you see it
I
though?
can't.
Can you
I
see
can't.
it?
Yeah, I can see it, but I can't mute that.
Okay, listen. I know you can't mute this, but you can mute your end, and you can't hear what.
But then I wouldn't be able to hear you. How can I mute that and still be able to hear you? See, there's no audio.
You probably just can't hear it. I'm trying to turn it up. That's what I'm saying.
Nope. I got my audio all the way up. I have to turn this shit down or I'll wake up the neighborhood. Well, it sounds like he's saying something really profound, but they're not letting me hear it.
Hold on. Could you hear the last video?
Nope.
You didn't?
Told
Okay,
you,
see,
no
that's
audio.
I know what it is. I know what it is. Watch this. Watch what I
Okay.
do. I know what it is. Watch this. See, I'm a problem solver, man.
Okay.
Let me show. So what I'm gonna do is, because you watching my screen,
Yeah. It's a big
right?
ass whale.
So you can see it on my screen.
But I can't hear it. Somehow the audio is not coming with it.
Okay.
Still
Can
no
you hear it
audio.
now?
Still no audio. Let's cut off. No audio. And your audio's on.
Okay. Can you hear it now?
Mm-mm.
What the hell?
This must be talking about the totalitarian system.
No.
Hmm?
No, that's not what it is. It should. What the hell? What is this? That's on your end then, bro.
It's not on my end.
It
I
gotta be
mean,
because if
I
it's
can't do nothing. I have no control over that.
I know
Only
you can't
thing I can
control that, but
control is
you can hear me, so you should be able to hear this.
I should, but I don't.
Mm, yeah, it's some bullshit.
I mean, I should be able to hear it on your side.
I know you should. I mean, I think it's because um okay.
It's like
So
it's quiet on your end too.
okay, there it is. I got it now. Let's see. Uh okay, let's see now.
2030, the One World Order plan, which, Klaus Schwab and his homies meet in the World Economic Forum to discuss every year.
You hear now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the fallen angelics also utilized
I'm gonna let it play
humans
over again.
to write the Bible. That the fallen angelics utilize
The fallen angels. They're getting blamed for everything.
Well, the thing about it is they don't have the power to completely wipe it. And what they're doing was in the plan of our ancestors. They wanted them to do this. Everything that what you calling the devil was doing, they will put up to doing it. We put them up to doing it.
We put them up to doing it. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna need you to show me how to work this disc. I mean, this chip.
You saying something?
Yeah, I said tomorrow when we do our little meeting, our little class, you can show me how to operate this chip.
Oh man, you should have told me this. We focus on this right now, brother. Let me explain when they say a creator God, right? Creator gods are just archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are
Yeah.
archetypes
Yeah.
that we
Archetypes.
we actually design in ancient time. We design these archetypes in ancient times,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're archetypes of the mind. So whenever they say the
Yep.
creator gods, they're just talking about a part of us that created us. Or you know how they say, did God create man or did man create God? Both.
Yeah. They're both one and the same.
You see how they're using draconian to speak about the dragon, the dragon energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're referred to they're anthropomorphized as the draconians, right? And we're talking about is the serpent brain.
The
All you're talking
serpentine.
about is the serpent brain, because you got the bird brain, and then you got the serpent brain. Remember
Oh shit.
what happened?
Uh, Fauci, Dr. Fauci, who's been vaxxed like 17 times, somehow contracts ultra rare West Nile virus on heels of COVID-19 infection.
Right. I mean, they've been exposed. I mean, at this point, the people are just retarded for even looking at. I mean, even listening to the so-called officials. You have to be. I mean, because there's so much information out here that kind of makes them look silly at this point.
Well, they're trying to do it again with the mpox, well, monkeypox, but it's now been classified as mpox.
But not like I said, it's too much truth out here for them to pull off another pandemic without people having heavy questions for their ass.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about with this was they was going into how it was political agenda to take the ancient knowledge and the ancient principles, the ancient wisdom, and use it as a control mechanism for the people of the modern times.
Mm. Okay. Control. Yeah. They want to control the people. Or do the people want to be controlled?
What did you say?
Or is it that the people wants to be controlled?
The people are in a state to where they are inferior minded and don't recognize their power. So it's just like how you know how they in the Constitution it kind of laid down the spiritual state and the mental state and emotional state of the people when it talked about it abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, right? They knew that people would never ever connect the dots. It seemed like I'm the only one who recognized that choice of word and how it implies what it implies based on the grammatical the grammatical structure of how they stated that slavery is abolished and except for involuntary servitude. They was laying down the foundation of the modern day slave system that we see today.
Well,
Whereas
yeah.
well the
Um,
modern day slave, let me explain the modern day slave system we see today. It's a debt slavery. It's a debt slavery to where now they're um, putting us in a deficit and what they call the national debt
mhm.
is trillions of dollars. They're making it so big to where you can never ever recover or repay the debt. Right? This is
Yeah.
the form. That's a form of slavery.
National debt clock. Let me show you how much each person owes.
Right. I mean, and when you lay it down, this is why they created the bond system when they changed the whole Republican Democrat language in the Constitution, the construction of the Constitution. They made it where now you become like a corporate entity or a corporate straw based on all of these instruments that's provided to you, social security card, birth certificate, all that stuff is provided to you by the so-called de facto government, and they not so-called, but the de facto government, not so-called, the de facto government, And this is where slavery is sophisticated slavery goes on, because that is a bond. Now, if you study the concept of a bond is the same thing as a chain. They are interchangeable. If you put a chain on someone, they're bonded.
Yeah, the link. See that debt per citizen and debt per taxpayer?
Right.
104,533 per citizen.
And the cold thing about it
268.
is, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you can't feel sorry for the people for involuntary their own involuntary. So it abolished slavery and involuntary servitude. So as long as y'all allow these people to run our economy and create this massive debt, you're responsible for that.
Yeah, because you voted for them.
Listen to what I just said, bro. We cannot blame the people that, even if you're not voting, right? Even if you're not voting in the system, you voted by not voting. So you're telling the people who you saying they're supposed to be. This is how this system works. It's a what you call a social trust. It's a social trust. When you're dealing with trust, people who are incompetent within a trust dynamic always lose. Within the trust dynamics, if you're incompetent, you always lose.
Incompetent means unknowledgeable.
Yes. And knowledge. This is the cold thing about it. And because ignorance is not an excuse in law. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't know," and think that it's not going to be favorable for you because you didn't know. No, you're required to know, though. In law, you are required to know. And why? Why? Because everyone is born. What are you born with when you come into this physical manifestation?
You have your mind, your will, your
That's
body.
part of your body. That's part of your body. You can just say body. I'm just talking about from a legal standpoint.
In your
right?
mind.
Right. What is that? What is that? What could how could you explain that from a legal standpoint? That's your estate. You're born with an estate.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? No, listen. That will be called that. Because look, you saying the mind is intangible, right? No, they call it intellectual property. Anything that come out your mind.
Because
so
it creates
you have an estate. You were born with an estate, right? You were born with your mind. You were born with your spirit. You were born with your so-called body, right? So that's all in your estate. See, this is what they're not explaining to us, right? That's all within your estate. So you have the responsibility of what you call an executive of the estate. You're an executive. You were born with that already inherited in you because you were born with a body and all of these intangible and tangible properties.
Yeah. However, but what about when you're born into a system that
don't no. Ignorance is no excuse. You have a responsibility. This is the thing. This is why ignorance, because you have a responsibility. Just because they're not telling you your responsibility, and you're going by the programmers and opposed to recognizing you're a programmer, you're going by their program. So yes, you become you become in a state or a condition of servitude because you're not taking responsibility.
What if you realize? What if you realize this, but you don't realize what you don't know? But you realize that you are in charge.
Once you realize it, it's your duty to go do your research.
Okay.
So you have no excuses. What I'm saying is like we in a mindset where we want to feel sorry for us, victimize ourselves, and act like we're a victim when we are the power structure for what the government is based on the consent of the governed. That's where the power comes from. So we can't blame the government for stuff that we allow it to do. This is what changed.
They did do.
Let me finish. Mind you, I am a black power. I used to be, my bad. I evolved. I used to be the number one black power revolutionary mindset motherfucker ever. Right? And I had to
Mm-hmm.
reevaluate my mindset because I started looking at it in a sincere way and looking at the dishonesty of most people is where they're not being honest with themselves with as it pertains to their responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the most part, the mass majority of people know that they need to step up and take more accountability and responsibility in their lives, but they
Yeah.
choose not to. We've been inundated, we've been indoctrinated in the system that makes everyone dependent on officials, people who we so-called trust. And that trust that we have for these people is not valid. It's just convenient. It's not valid, it's just
It's
convenient.
convenience, because that could fade away in a hurry. That person could, something could happen, and that person end up going down for whatever.
Let me give you an example. This government is in no position to be looked at as an authority for telling the truth or nothing. They've been lying to us. We
Yep.
got evidence. They've been caught with their hands in the cookie jar multiple times in
Mm-hmm.
Congress. Congress exposed them. Congress exposed these faulty government, dark, what they call them, dark agenda of people in the government, right? And
Yeah.
little to nothing is done a lot of times. Why? Because there are only a couple of people who are even competent enough to recognize the wrongdoing.
And then there's no one to prosecute them because they run the whole goddamn thing.
Well, they
That's
make it.
their government.
They shape the. This is what they're talking about now with the whole voting system, special interest. How corporations basically run this government now because they're able to shape the government into what they want it to be for their corporate interests.
Yeah. And
So,
so,
and it works like that. It's what I'm saying. The government is nothing more than a tool to be used, as you think. But those who are savvy enough to understand the system and how it works, they use this shit. They use it
mhm.
for their benefit of their own interests when it's supposed to be in
Yes,
the interest of the people.
yes, but we gotten far away from that. But we still give it the appearance during election time. They give it the
No,
appearance that it's there
right.
for the people.
Well,
That's the only
that
time.
appearance that you're talking about, is the people
Mhm.
have yet to not in some cases recognize, and in other cases want to do anything, have enough courage to do anything about it. Because a lot of people know the corruption, they did not willing to do nothing about it. They figured somebody else going to do something about it, and that's the problem,
Yeah, they feel
right?
like the person they electing is going to do something about it.
I mean, for the most part, so-called black people don't fall for that anymore. This is why we're so confused and scrambled on how we're going to operate politically now. So this is why I've already predicted, and this is going to talk about. I'm going to go into how Christians try to use the Bible predicts this, and that's their justifications and stuff. No, that's bullshit, right?
Hmm.
I'm going to
Hmm.
predict in the next 10 years, I'm going to be explaining this what I'm saying to people because they're going to have to get more savvy because of how the conditions of the destabilization of this is a process of destabilization of this
Yeah,
economy. It's a process. So
it just
is
doesn't happen all at once.
process going to be the process is going to be slow, and it may happen
Hmm.
over 10 to 20 years, right? Do you understand that there are going to be so many questions? There are going to be so many people who before they were oblivious because they had this system to put them in a comfort zone, right? Because all you do it's a debt-based system, so all you do is fall into debt and then sit back and get into debt, and then now they passed the law where you can wipe out your debt now. So what they did was you don't have to be accountable for your wrongdoing no more.
Well, if
You get
you're,
sit here and get in debt, and then have the government wipe it clean. What does that do? What does that
What's
psychologically do? What is it? What is
he
the
doing that?
what is the effect of that? What are the effects of them doing that? More people become undisciplined. More and more people become um, uh, 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 inconsistent in their behavior. They just think everything gonna be white clean whenever
Well,
it gets hard on them. No,
well,
it doesn't
they're
work.
using our state anyway. They're taking money out of our state and making them pay them for paying for taking the money out of our state on their behalf.
Okay, I hear you. Let me rephrase that. We're so incompetent as a whole, and they don't teach this competency of law and state politics and the state affairs to the point where now we allowing it because of our incompetency. It's always going back to the incompetency, bro. It's never they doing anything. They're always going to play off of your incompetency. They're always going to play off of our
Okay,
incompetence.
well, they're allowing us. Well, they're allowing us to remain incompetent, and we're not even a lot of us not even aware that we are incompetent of
Right.
something that we're
They're
supposed to be
supporting or
competent of.
they maintaining. This is what we call it. They're maintaining their colonization and globalization agenda by making sure that the people get sensationalized to the point where you got to understand you get so sensationalized when you become like this beta thinker, like everything is just base thinking, right? Well, you are not able after a while, you are not able to grasp the complexities of a concept or a matter or state of matter. You're not able to grasp it to the point where now people knowing it within themselves, deep down in this, it's insecurity in most people. And whenever you tell people the truth, they get offended. And then when you tell people the truth, they get offended because they know they should have been doing the work to do the due diligence to know that themselves. Shame of it, they don't know themselves. That's why they're offended now.
Yeah.
Because of years of being the indoctrination of Western American school system.
And then some Negro like you or me have the nerves to know and tell them.
Right. Because it's just look how they demonize every brother. They've had multiple characters like Sharif on Sharif on not Minister Society.
I
Yeah,
know
that
who you're
was Minister
talking.
Society. Sharif.
Mm-hmm.
They always had a conscious brother that used to tell these gangster cats the true shit. What did they do? Shut your ass up, Sharif. We don't want to hear that shit. They got a concept in hip hop talking about what you trying to kick knowledge. What you trying to kick knowledge? Why? Because they're shaming the people who are trying to change the learning curve.
Yeah. So then you won't
It's
be
just like in school. Remember how they do that in school? I want to cut your wisdom right quick. Remember they used to do that? They used to get mad at the intelligent person, like stop trying to change the learning curve. We all comfortable with the teacher recognizing that we all stupid.
Yeah.
And he's not going to challenge us. He's not going to give us any hard work because he realized that we're being stupid. So when somebody comes in there who knows something, right? You're changing the learning curve, and everybody mad at you now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now we got to fucking think.
Yes. Right. So that's the slave. That's the new slave system, brother. What we just explained is the new slave system. Because slavery is the result of your incompetence. You can only be put in a condition of servitude based on your own incompetence.
Or you was conquered.
That's the incompetencies. That's the incompetency. Yeah. Okay, let's think. Let's say, okay, let's go there then, because you said we're conquered, right? How did we get conquered? We just they just had the power to conquer us, huh? No, they don't. If you look at the history, we gave them the power to conquer us.
Yeah,
Let's look at the history. Whatever
we
we
did.
call them, they conquered us, and no, we gave them we allowed them to sell the 7 seas because we was jacking their ass up. They couldn't even go across it. They fought a whole war. This is crazy, bro. I'm studying this shit. They fought a whole war in order to get a glimpse of the power that France had and Spain had.
Mm-hmm.
Germany wasn't getting none of that shit. So Germany was the only one mad. They met with the Sultan of Morocco and all this, right? So that they can
Mm-hmm.
get some of this maritime power that was extended to France. It was extended to France, and France extended it to Spain. So they operating under power of a sovereign empire that was our ancestry. That's our ancestry.
But they only ended up with that because we were on a decline.
Because we was infighting.
Yeah,
Back
that
to
was the
again,
decline.
back again to us. They ain't did shit. We
Yeah,
out of order.
and we're still that way today.
Oh my God. This is why
So
it's
what brought
against,
us down is keeping us down.
listen, it's why it's against national security. It's against national security for so-called black people to unify. It's against national security for the United States of
But
America.
it's,
I mean.
but
Why?
it's
Why did they why how do we know this? Because they incorporated it into the what we call the black codes. You know, in the black code, they say if 4 or more gather, break it up. Why? Because they knew in their hearts of heart, in their mind of mind, that if they're gathering up, they may be plotting to leave the plantation. They may be plotting to recognize their true status on the land.
They may try to be starting another Gullah War.
That was a result of us not understanding our truth. Because instead of fighting a war with them, with physical war, right? We supposed to be fighting a war on paper, man. The pen is the mightiest weapon there ever was, bro.
Yeah, pen is mightier than a sword.
So
But sometimes
exactly.
you
So
need
what
both.
I'm telling you is, instead of fighting their ass physically, we need to come into political unity and study and recognize this history of who we are, right? We debating whether we black, we Moors, we indigenous. Fuck all that. We all that. We're
Yeah,
Moors. That's exactly
we're
what more. We're
more.
more. We're more than what you think we are. We're more. We're more. Anything you want to bring up, we're more. We're more. We're more. Whatever you want to bring up, we are. We more. That's exactly what more actually means. Now, from a spiritual standpoint, this is why we have to connect. It's a spiritual thing to connect back to our Moorish history. Why? Because this is a prophecy that's being fulfilled, brother. This is a prophecy
Yeah,
that's being fulfilled that we set up the parameters of what's happening right now. Because imagine our people come into political unity, right? And start the process of post-millennium. The process of post-millennium is the right of a group of people who have been subjugated to war, colonization, and anything that harmed that group to return back to their original state. Right? What was our original state? We was ruling the 7 seas.
Oh shit! Are they gonna be ready for that?
State, yes, listen. Our original state is we are a part of a vast empire that ruled the 7 seas. That had a massive sovereign power dynamics that all of the rest of the world had to have it extended to them to even have a maritime globalization agenda for their interest.
So that means the entire world is indebted to us.
Yes, for real. You're right.
So then, once we come back into play again, the whole world is going to have to rethink itself, recreate itself, because the way that it's going, you can't do that no more.
Exactly,
Because the right,
the righteous landlords are not operating in their true sense,
true capacity.
Right?
But once the
We
righteous
are the
landlord,
actual landlord. This is why everyone is battling for a claim to this land over here, bro. You notice that? Everyone is battling that. This is the whole basis of this election. If people are not looking at the overwhelming, not overwhelming, but underlining purpose and symbolism with this election. Let's make America great again with how it actually began, right? Make America great again, right? What are they talking about?
Shit, that's not in favor of Moors.
Of course, you gotta look into the symbolism by understanding history. The only reason I can even talk on this is I have an overview of history, brother. I'm a history buff. I study history so thoroughly that I can speak to why these agendas, right, that started hundreds of thousands, probably thousands of years ago, agendas, and you can see how they're still in the process of achieving their agenda or accomplishing their agendas, right? So you looking at this election, it started with make America great again. Then they collude in the whole. They look right around the time Make America Great Again came around, right? That's when the Moors start really, really, really becoming popular. The Moors start really becoming popular, and now we're in a state where it was last year when Rise of the Moors was on the news. I predicted that too. Remember, Rise of the Moors was on the news because they had blocked some highway, and then the highway patrol, and they had guns where they were going to do some sort of gun training and shit and they was going through all of these different states, and they got caught. I forgot what state, and they got caught in one state or whatever. And the government, let me tell you why that happened. And this is a spiritual reason why that happened, because it's a situation that happened on international news that we can refer to when in the future, when we talk about post-millennium and restoration of Moorish sovereignty and all that stuff, now it's gonna make sense because we can reference that now. Like, okay, what did Rise of the Moors do wrong? They didn't have the whole political process of post-millennium in mind when they was doing what they was doing. They
didn't have government set up.
They're still under the old paradigm of enforce the Constitution, which we know now that's not what we're supposed to be doing, because we are not a party to that.
We're not a part of that.
We're not a party to that document. We're not a party to that. As Moors, black folks are not either. So you know how black folks are going to come in. Oh, black folks, no, you're not. You're not a party. Why? Let me show you how you're not a party to that legislation, to that Constitution. You're not a party to that Constitution. If you were the party to that Constitution, right? Why would they have to amend it? Or pass other legislation to give you a quasi status in that, right? The Bill of Rights, right? The Civil Rights Act. And the Bill of Rights. I mean, the Civil Rights Act, my bad. The Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act. Those are the only two legislation that was passed. And mind you, it wasn't ratified in all states. It was not ratified.
So that's the only thing that makes us sort of relative.
Right. So you are not a party to the Constitution. You're not.
You're only quasi-relative.
You're not protected under the Constitution.
But these fools think they are. They think
I'm explaining to them using the actual jurisprudence to prove them wrong. I'm talking about actual. You cannot argue what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is based in the jurisprudence of the language of the Constitution, right? The language of the Constitution is going to tell you what it is. And in not one point of the language of the Constitution where they extend any, because what it is if you are a part of the Constitution, they wouldn't have to pass a legislation to make you part of it. They will not have to amend it to make you part of it. You will just be a part of it. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They wouldn't have to do nothing to make you part of it. You're just a part of it. But we had to do that to to get you off their backs about integrating into their bullshit, which I think it was a fucking mistake. We owed more in segregation. We owed more, and we were more dependent. Independent. We were more independent. Mm-hmm. So segregation did not help us, but we was convinced that was our agenda, right? Yeah. That should have been our agenda. But go ahead, brother. I don't want to be long-winded.
What this last words?
I mean, if that's what you want to do.
Oh, well, it is getting kind of late. Well, my last words for the night. Well, cultivate your energy because you're going to need it, because they're using all these blood rituals against us over and over. This Republican and Democratic convention, that's a ritual. So, and these rituals are designed to keep this shit going and to keep us enslaved. So break out of it. Do your rituals, ladies and gentlemen. Light your candles. Have your 5-pointed stars. Appoint your entities, your deities, your 5 deities, and do your work. Bring the energy down from the higher realms down here so it can manifest as our victory. As it can manifest as us gaining successful in this post-millennium process. That's the way we must be thinking. We must be thinking only about us succeeding at restarting our Moorish sovereignty, our Moorish government, our new Moorish government. First, we start off with a temporary one, and then eventually a permanent one. But we got to start somewhere. And sooner we get this,
it will be new in the sense of we're newly recognizing that ancient heritage, because what we're going to erect as a government is going to be based on pre-existing sovereignty that's still in play to this day. We know because the European is not able to even have the United States wouldn't be in the United States of America if the sovereign power of Morocco still didn't exist.
So there you have it. So now is our time. America, the de facto corporation is weak. They're running out of time. So that means we have to be like Jack, be nimble, Jack, be quick. Time to jump over the candlestick.
Symbolism.
Symbolism.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I break down everything in symbolism now. I'm so symbol literate that I see all I see is symbols now. That's all I see now.
You're like, what's his name on the Matrix? he just see the cup. He just look.
Right. It's time for us to go. You breaking up. If you even still there, I see you froze. You froze for a minute.
Yeah.
They throttle. They throttle.
Somebody playing tricks.
Yeah, they throttle on it again. But at the end of the day, let me give my last word so we can go and get out of here. I look at everything symbolically. Yeah. Everything is, because when you look at things based on sensory perception, you're missing all of the symbols. You're missing all of the subtle, sublime nuances, right? You looking, and when you're looking at the sublime nuance, you're looking at glimpses of the unseen world, right?
Subconscious.
You're basically cultivating your clairvoyance. You're able to enhance your clairvoyance by thinking like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is, I'm seeming like a prophet now myself, and I don't want to claim to be a prophet because as soon as you claim to be a prophet, people gonna start challenging you. I don't want no followers in my prophetic ideas that I've been given because I've been prophesizing a lot of stuff recently and shit. But
So,
and really, all I look at is prophecy is brothers who have a connection or have turned on their clairvoyance online again, and they just able to see things for how they really are, not how they want them to be, and that clarity allows them to predict things and shit, right? And this is the thing about us as a people is that we all have that, right? We all have that because you have the ability to have your black dot and your pineal gland healthy, right? Most of y'all are calcified. So now it's like some of the stuff that we're saying really doesn't apply because we're talking about alchemy. We're talking about the inner struggle. We're talking about the self mastery, the mastery of self, right? And when you
yes.
realize, when you master self, you realize there is no self. There's just the all, right? So when you get on these levels of mastery of yourself, right? You cannot be having the same conversation you was having before you got to that level. You are not supposed to be having the same conversation. If you
Well,
are, then that means you're not evolving, and
that's
that's the
because you haven't gone through that adversity that you have to go through to get to the next step.
yeah. Everybody, but this is just beyond everyone is going through the adversity within, right? The energy high. Everyone, you can't. That's the only thing that's the common factor in everybody's life is themselves. That's the common denominator in everyone's life is your goddamn self, the man in the mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mastery is reconciling these negative and positive aspects of who you are. Shadow work. You gotta be able to handle all of these dark ideas that we're being bombarded with, and you can transfer them to positive. This is what I'm saying. If you look, for example, most people don't even want to um, go into because anything they call it demon eye, it's demon. Anything that you don't know, it's the dark, it's demon.
Yeah.
Anything you don't know, that's what they calling it. Anything that people don't know, it become dark and demon.
Well, shit,
Right?
they listen to rap music. That shit is more demonic now than ever.
I mean, right. That's why. But you realize that hip hop is dwindling because of how the industry, how the industry the, uh, perverted it. The industry
Yeah,
perverted
it's
it
been
to where it got.
perverted.
Like I
Yeah.
said, even Malcolm Jamal Warner is coming on TV talking about anti hip hop is anti so called black people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
right. I wouldn't categorize what we're seeing today as hip hop. It's not hip hop. Hip hop is something different.
No.
Hip
Yeah.
hip is knowing and hopping to it. That's what hip hop. Knowing hip. When you hip to something, you hop to it. Hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So these people are not doing none of that.
This is something else. This is
This is
Version.
a morph. This is a morphing of hip hop. This is a mutation of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Some type of hybrid, but it's
mm-hmm.
not hip hop though.
It uses a form of hip hop to promote some obscene, perverted, in inverted lifestyle.
Right, because it's very what I say is because most people refer to it as demonic, but I would look at it as not understanding the duality between the demonic and the angelic realms. Right? Remember I talked about how the mastery of your demons is your genius. So what it is hip hop has become a genre for where all of these demons can come through people that have no mastery and understanding of them being the masteries of these two angelic and demonic realms. Right? You are the masters of these because if you don't master yourself, even angels will come and try to take advantage of your ass if you don't
Yeah.
master yourself. Angels will come and try to take advantage. Right?
Well, thought forms, shit, thought forms will come get you.
Exactly.
Every
Well, that's literally when you coming through the ethers and shit. I mean, an angel is a thought, and a thought is an angel, or whatever it is. I mean,
angels are
depending on
angels
what
of
level of
light.
ethers you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like a
Angels of
demon is a thought. When I remember what I did, your mastery of your demons is your genius. The demon is an error in your thinking. The
You
error.
see, like I said, the human brain is the home of the angelic realm and the home of the heavenly hosts.
Right,
But
right,
the pineal gland, that's a little tiny gland
right. It's a
within it
world unknown.
is universe B,
It's a
uh,
world unknown.
just as vast as this universe over here, and is
Right. I
separate
mean,
from.
I think it's more vast. It's way more vast.
Yeah, it's like a turnip seed.
You can fit millions of those universe A's into universe B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in universe A, universe B is just like is the size of a turnip seed or smaller.
Right,
But in universe B, universe A is the same thing too.
right. See, the science of physics literally change when you grow in your vibration of understanding spiritual awareness. Everything, I mean, you cannot, that's what I'm saying, you can't be having the same conversation before you have these spiritual revolutions. Once you have these spiritual revelations, this is what spiritual revelations mean. It means you're growing in your evolution. You're vibrating at a whole nother level now. So now you reevaluate all of the things that you have been indoctrinated with in this three-dimensional orientation. Go
Well,
ahead, brother.
actually, you can't have no conversation because you don't there's not too many people you can have a conversation with.
No, of course. That's why I love doing this show. I mean, it's like a really a venting of that, you know what I'm saying, frustration of not being able to talk to people, man, because they all choosing to not recognize the God within. They're choosing not to recognize
Yeah.
it. They're choosing not to take that responsibility and that accountability of being a powerful being in the universe. You are a powerful
No,
being.
they don't want that responsibility. They much
Right.
rather put that responsibility on some particular entity or
Yes.
deity, and
And they
that
worship.
deity, yeah, all they do is just worship him, and that deity will bless them
Right.
or punish them,
Right.
and they can and they just be a human, and
And this is the
just only
problem.
focus on the mundane.
This is and therein where you lies the matrix because
Yeah,
the
and then now you
Neo
got
recognized.
people, and then you got people that they were conscious. They're they're really religious. They they have just a little bit of just religion.
Right. Yeah, we out of here. He out of here. Yeah, but while he pausing, I'm gonna just say the last of my last words is yeah, like I said, we are powerful beings if we choose to be. Like you can also choose to be an inferior being. That's a choice. I'm not about to impose on people to become a superior being. If you choose to be an inferior being, I mean more power to you, right? But you have the potentiality to become the highest being in the cosmos, right? I can understand people not wanting to have that accountability and responsibility to an extent, but from my standpoint, it's like in order for me, like I said, my competency is my authority to move in my interest in my own affairs and govern over my own affairs. So as a result, yeah, I see you pause. You just pause, bro. You just pause. Still right here, paused. So I'm still on right now, but you just on here paused and shit. But I think they can still hear you. You talk on the phone though.
Let me, okay. Put that on here on my phone.
Right. But what I was saying, I was just telling people that you have the choice. You can just look at yourself and view yourself from as being just you can you
All
can
right.
make you can choose to look at yourself as an inferior being, right? If you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not imposing that people do that. I'm not saying you go ahead and do it, or I'm saying from my perspective, I look at it as I can't master over my own affairs. Going back to how the estate operates, right? I can't. In order for you not to be in slavery here, right? In order for you not to be in slavery here, you will have
Mm-hmm.
to become the authority. You will have to become the authority in your own life in the sense of being competent enough to handle your affairs. So this is the line of logic or the basis of energy that I understand and I operate in because this is why I look at myself as a superior being opposed to an inferior being. Because at the end of the day, I or you have no other choice at the end of the day. You do because you already going to come back around and have to do this shit again. So I'd rather take that accountability and responsibility now at this particular state in my evolution and not
Yeah.
have to go through those cycles again. That's the and
Yeah.
everyone is have the power to do whatever. I'm not imposing just like religious people always impose because they're so insecure about their convictions that they have to try to impose on you. Oh, God gonna strike you down if you don't do this. I'm saying
Oh
it's
God. Yeah.
you can choose to be an inferior being or you can choose to be a superior being. It's all up to you because you have the potentiality of all these aspects of yourself. That's all I'm saying. That's all I teach here. I'm not teaching you should do this, you should do that. I'm not saying what you should do. You are the
Mm-hmm.
master of your life. You are the master of
Yeah.
who you the master, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can also look at yourself as the victimization state. Because I see a lot of people want to be victims, and that's a slave mind state. That's the beta mind state, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you have every right to do that.
Yeah.
You have every right to do that.
And you can come in that, and you can do it in this lifetime, and then come back again in another lifetime and do it all over again.
Exactly. That's up to
Yeah,
you.
and do it,
What
and then
we're
the
teaching
next life
here
you can do it
is
even better.
what we're teaching here is if you choose to evolve. So don't come on here trying to debate us and and because you're insecure about the way you think about your reality. That's the only reason people want to challenge people on. I mean, I don't mind you challenging me at the end of the day. You can challenge me on everything I'm saying because at the end of the day, I literally have ancient wisdom to back up everything I say.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient wisdom that's far surpassed this modern day way of looking at things, right? Far surpassed. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm not, and a lot of people, that's what they're doing too, because they're worshiping these modern day gods. They worshiping these modern day, like the internet, like the media, like the government. These are modern day gods that people worship, right?
AI, billionaires.
Materialism, corporatization, systems. That all these are gods. They exposed that in American Gods, right? Because the media was a god. The media was an actual god, right? The media, what was the other one? Because these are the new gods. The internet, that was a god. And these people are worshiping it 24/7 too. So these gods are 10 times more powerful than the gods of the ancient world because nobody really paying attention. Like this was they had a did you ever watch American Gods yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Man, you missing out, brother. You missing out. I'm trying to tell you. You got to watch it from beginning to end. You got to just sit back and binge on it one day. Just binge on it one day and shit. Watch every last because it's just gonna confirm all of your research of this ancient. It's gonna confirm it in that one show because what they did they talked about how those old gods, right, wasn't getting worshipped as much as they used to be, right? And it was a problem. It was a problem between the old gods and the new gods, right? So because the whole basis of it, remember how we talked about did the man create God or did God create man? Well, this symbiosis between God and humanity is unbreakable. It's a symbiosis that's unbreakable. You can't break that bond. Like, do you remember the Clash of the Titans? They talked about it in Clash of the Titans. They looked at humanity. The gods looked at humanity as a stage play. How it played out affected the God realm. So y'all need to recognize the symbolism that's being thrown in your face constantly. They constantly telling you.
Well, see, my time, I don't have that much time anymore. My time, I mean, I'm doing, I'm moving, doing the work that I have to do before this event take place. So that way, when this event's happening, I'm being affected in a positive way and not in a negative way. So that way, okay, I keep I keep getting this 95, the number 95 keep coming up in my life. And I went on the internet and I looked up the significance of that, the occult meaning of that. And it's an angelic number. And what it was saying is that this is the time where your guardian angels have prepared a way for you. And in all the hard work that I've gone through, all the adversity and everything that I've gone through, it's all coming to a point. I'm at this apex right now where I'm going to cross over to a whole nother fucking paradigm and leave this old one behind. And then once I cross over into this new paradigm, there I'll be able to become I'll have the tools, I'll have the time, the energy, everything I need to manifest something that's going to change everything, that's going to help bring us together and help bring about this post-millennium process and help bring about a new world.
Well, I hope you're not saying that based your age because I met a sister. Well, I didn't necessarily met her in person, but I seen a sister on a video. She's 141 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She looks about your age.
Mm-hmm. 141.
141.
Oh, well, then she done something. She broke beyond the 120 because
Well, but
Yahweh designed.
the basis of how she was able to. I'm talking about. I mean, she don't look 141, man. She does not look 141.
Mm-hmm.
She does not look 141, brother, at all, at
Okay.
all. But
Yeah.
the way she's a herbalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's a practitioner and a holistic herbalist, and she's been practicing it for years now. So and she's man, you can tell she's a genius in it because, like I said, she's 141 and she does not look it at all, right? And I'm not
Mm.
saying that.
Well, she broke.
So I'm not saying this to support this idea of most people thinking death is an enemy of man. No, death is no enemy of man, right? What I'm
No.
promoting is a stream of understanding that we have a lot of time to make manifestations from an old paradigm or older memory, like Atlantis memories. I have Atlantis
Mm-hmm.
memories all the time, and I'm not saying I'm just using Atlantis as a reference point, but I'm saying like I have memories of when we were, like I said, on a whole nother vibration. We was on a whole nother vibration, brother. Like that's why I can talk about how we were light beings and we have the power to solidify ourselves into third dimension if we wanted to and go back and forth if we want. We can still do it now by sleeping. We go back and forth while we sleeping. But
Yeah.
I I have a vision of us doing it right at our own will as we see fit. Like anytime
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to. As a matter of fact, a lot of these UFO that they're referring to as UFO are these
Mm-hmm.
beings who still retain that ability. They're light ships. They're Merkaba ships. They're light ships. Like I'm saying, you have a Merkaba within you. You are the Merkaba. Your light body is a Merkaba, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Merkaba is just your spirit and your soul in unity, right? And they come together and it's an actual ship to travel through multi-dimensional reality,
Yeah. Yeah, we
bro.
have a getaway ship. Yeah, when our time is when we do make the transition out of here, we have a getaway vessel.
But think about this though. This understanding, this evolution I'm going through, I say things that people haven't caught up to, but I said stuff 20 years ago now they caught up to. Like I was saying to people, there is no distance. There is no such thing as distance. Everything exists simultaneously in the black dot. Everything in creation,
Yeah,
known and unknown universe exists in the black dot, bro. So this is where
in the
you
black dot.
reevaluate this whole UFO phenomenon, right? Where now it's like, damn, these now what they were saying is this. They're like I'm saying, I was saying this years ago. Now they're catching up to it. I was talking about quantum reality before start being popular, right? And I'm not saying it's egotistically. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying it's how advanced I'm thinking as it pertains to my evolution, right? So I was thinking, like they was talking about, oh, they must have some powerful propulsion systems, right? That's what the language was, and when they were first bringing it up, right? They must have some powerful propulsion systems, right?
Yeah,
That can
and they
that
think it's a
that
mechanical
they got these
machine.
powerful engines because that's what they was thinking. That's the mindset they were thinking on. Like an engine, we can build an engine that can take us from one part of the universe to another part of the universe. No, the fuck you can't. No, the fuck you can't.
Mm-mm.
Watching Star Trek, thinking, and then look,
No,
on Star Trek, right? What did they have? What did they have? What did they have on Star Trek? Warp
crystal.
system, right? A
That
warp
warp
machine,
drive.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Meaning They had the ability to
Mhm.
warp space and time into the think about this shit. They were able to
Yeah.
create. They created a
Mhm.
device
Yeah.
that does you do naturally. You do this naturally, mind you. You do it naturally. They had a device, a warp, what they call
Yeah.
it, a warp.
So
What? It was
a
called
warp drive.
a warp drive, right? Now, if you
A
look up the
warp
word
drive.
warp, right? If you look up
Yeah.
the word warp, right? It means alter,
Mhm.
right? Going back to the concept of alter too, you create an alter to warp reality. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
You open up a hole within the time continuum, and you travel through that hole.
Not only do
And
you open
and
up
and
a
then in
hole,
this
right?
hole that you travel through, there's
Not only do you open up a hole, because you're right. Not only do you open up a hole, but you got to understand the power of magic and the process of correspondence, right? Correspondence, right? You're creating a correspondence between two worlds, between two lengths
yeah.
of vibrational. Saying this is what all dark matter actually is, right? Dark matter is nothing more than this bleeding in from one dimensional vibration to another dimensional vibration. So this is constantly happening. This is where you see how when they look at the universe for how it looks like a wave. This should look like a wave. But when you come back into consciousness, it goes back into solidification, right? So what we're actually
Mm-hmm.
looking at is when you look at a warp drive, right? When you look at your pineal glands is a warp drive, meaning
Mm-hmm.
you can
Yeah,
open.
your pineal gland and your hypothalamus and pituitary, all
Right,
three of those glands, and plus your medulla oblongata is the triple darkness of space, or that the universe that represents that darkness,
right,
that void, or
right. It's
the
not only
primordial
represented
universe.
from an
That's the
astral.
medulla oblongata.
You're right. It's not only represented from an astral, projectual, spiritual, vibrational level. It is that. That's what it is. Remember, I talked about how the gods are archetypes.
Yeah.
Or gods are archetypes because we create a god in our mind, right? The mind is a part of the tapestry of the whole universe. As a matter of fact, it's connected to the tapestry of the whole cosmos. So when you create something in your mind, it
And
literally
each
manifests in
organ,
the universe, right?
and
So
each organ is an aspect of the universe too.
right. So all we
Each
are
organ, the kidney,
microcosm,
the
macrocosm of
liver.
something that's reflecting upon itself to reflect these fragments of itself, right? This is all it
Well,
is.
if you go inward and you look at all the that we are a multiverse. Inwardly, we are a multiverse.
Of course we are. Yes, we are. No
The
doubt.
liver, all these organs are a universe within itself. Yeah.
Right. And we gotta
Hmm.
go. I want to say this.
Well, it's
We gotta
getting
go.
late. It's been great.
We gotta go. I mean, say this right quick. But
Yeah.
look at study. I would encourage y'all
Okay.
to study what's called sacred geometry. Sacred geometry explains
Hmm.
how things from the unseen world are manifested. It literally shows you how these things are manifested through these vibrational experiences that they all of known matter is having a vibrational experience. We are having a vibrational, but we're humans having a vibrational experience and condition. That's what it really is. You know how they used to say, "Oh, we're
Hmm.
gods having a human experience." Really, is literally based on vibration. It's really based on energy, and how that's all it really is. But we got to go though. I'll see y'all next week.
Okay. Yeah. Next week.